Hi everyone, this is Susie from Minnesota. I garden in Zone 4 and it's early July and I thought I'd take you on a tour of what's blooming in my garden. The hostas are all starting to flower. At this point I'm just kind of leaving them. I might trim them up a little bit later, but I have been watering constantly to where I just don't feel like trimming up the heads. I've been kind of a lazy gardener this year. Great blue lobelia back here. It is native, so it definitely wants to take over. It was growing in the grass, which I control with the lawnmower. Because you can kind of see it has wandered over here to the side. I have a bunch of caladiums planted throughout in here, just for some little pops of color. Carolyn Wharton. And then Miss Muffet down here. Some more Carolyn Wharton, and I mean that is a beautiful, beautiful caladium. And then some coleus of mine that looks really great. These Sun King Aurelias are massive. Things are still looking good. I'm not going to complain. I don't have a lot of slug damage on stuff. And that's because we've been super dry. My only issue is I will know next year how my plants will do with this lack of moisture. I've been trying to water as, there we go, focus. Some more coleus. So I will know with this lack of moisture what it's going to do next year. And I will notice it with my hostas, that's for sure. Miss Muffet caladium. I just kind of plant them, like I said, throughout for a spot of color. I don't, because if I were to do a huge drift of these, that's all you would see. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I love my perennials. So it's kind of like the cherry on top. But yeah, look at that veining in there. Isn't that glorious? You can see my hostas here are getting some burn here. That was from, we've been super warm and dry. That's what happens with hostas. Although the heuchera is loving it. Not much to say about these hardy geraniums. They're okay. I'm leaving them because they're adding a little contrast with the dark of their foliage with the others, but I don't know. I was expecting them to get bulkier like my other geraniums. So I'm just loving this coleus here. Again, all the coleus that you see in my in-ground gardens are all cuttings that I took. So I did pay for the plant, but last year. So these are all just little babies from it. But yeah, isn't this kind of a cool combination? I might use this for next year with the Miss Muffet caladium with the coleus back here, how those colors just work so nice together. They are flowering. I will be cutting those off. But yeah, I really like that. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see. And again, usually I get in here and cut off all of my flower heads from my snow on the mountain, but like I said, it's been a good year. But like I said, with all the watering, I've kind of been focusing more attention on that than other stuff. Yeah, those Sun Kings are amazing. Turtle head is doing pretty good in here considering. And I did get some soaker hoses, so I move them about in my garden. Takes a little bit to place them. I think I have a 25-foot, 50, and a 75. So, but it beats watering with a sprinkler. because I do not water my grass. That is not how I do my watering. My plants get the water first, and then the rain has to water my grass. I will not do that. More caladiums. So when I planted these, all the hostas were up a little bit more, and I think just they were so happy in early June, and now they're kind of like, eh. I might move them, but we'll see, because I have some more down in here. You can't really see them. You can kind of peeking out every once in a while. So another one in there. But these you can. I might move one to like right in here. I was expecting this hosta to get just a bit bigger. But that one I split this year and moved. So that's fine. But yeah, I might move it just to kind of fill that in. I keep trimming these out, but all of these little sprouts in here are from the roots of my tree. And it's like every day I'm trimming them. So they are not a plant, they are just a nuisance. More caladiums down here. If we would get the rain, of these would be huge. I mean, they're doing good, and so I'm not going to complain, but yeah. This coleus looks really good. That has filled in nicely. They looked pretty tough when I planted them. I'm just kind of... Another tree root coming up right there. And I leave the spent flower heads on my goat's beard because I think they're just so elegant looking. I love it. I love how they just kind of droop over too, and I brush past them. I am surprised that the bleeding heart is still doing good and it hasn't yellowed and gone dormant. Oh. But yeah, the hostas are all still doing really good. Like I said, I think next year is when, unless if we get some rain here coming in, usually we don't. July is usually a dry month for us, same with August. But coleus, there's some bug damage on it. Not sure what's doing it. It could be slugs. But still looks good. I'm gonna start in the back here and then work my way around. This is gonna be a long tour because this is gonna be everything. Again, I'm trying to walk a little slower back here because the uneven ground. So you can see these hostas are all getting their flower spikes on. They're the ones that I don't care for because they're so tall, and then they just kind of get in the way. But the bees and the hummingbirds love them. Who knows, it might be a year I don't trim them up. I will eventually. I love this coleus. I just kind of love that rust color against the green, and then with the blue down here. I did put the lime green one back here. It's probably not the best place considering this is a very lime green area, but it is what it is. The flowers are really pretty on this. I have to be careful because bees do like to go in there. These are, oh, you can see right there. I'm going to bend down. Hopefully he doesn't. And I do have some caladiums planted again for just a little bit of color in this garden. All of the caladiums in this one is white queen, or our white queen. That one's quite tiny right now. The coleus in this area is doing really good though. It probably would be a bit bigger if I'd be a little more diligent on watering. But I think this one's doing a little bit better because I water these pots and I get some water from that. I don't know this variety. The bloom spike should be taller than that because this is a tall variety of astilbe, but this is also one that I moved this year, so the fact that it's even blooming surprises me. So I can't wait to see what it does next year. And this one too, and this is a white astilbe. I did have some rabbit damage to this, but it is throwing off one spike. The one thing that I found out when not snow on the mountain, because snow on the mountain can just grow anywhere, but when you do plant around trees of this size, a lot of the nutrients and moisture is sucked up by this tree. So this I might just, probably not this year, but next year, just have it set up with a soaker hose and have it running depending on the season. Next year could just be rainy and not have an issue. I didn't last year, but like I said, they still look good. But you can see these are daylilies that I moved. I love the foliage. I don't care if they ever bloom. They probably, because it's a little shadier here, they might not. They might throw a spike up, but they look pretty tough. So I've been watering them as much as I can, but the ground is still very dry. I will say this is pretty here with these purple spikes. That's really neat. I do love this area. It's got a very tranquil feel to me. It's its first full year, so I think it's doing pretty good with, I should say, not the ones that, not the hostas that are surrounding the tree like this, but I planted all of these hostas here and astilbes and whatnot all in here last September. And then some things were just moved this year. So it looks pretty good considering. It usually takes about 3 years to start seeing some, I don't know, them really fill in and really look amazing. And then you have this garden taken over by lots of invasive plants, but that's okay. Empress Wu back here, still looking good. She should be bigger, but there's a lot of competition in this area here. This poor plant here, I don't know. I always thought it was like a variegated japonica, but I don't know for sure. But there's a lot of burning on this plant, and it likes it shadier. And you can see also lots of bug damage. I've been having a lot of bug issues this year, but for the most part, I'm letting nature just deal with it. Certain things I'll kind of step in on, but other stuff, and you know, the fact is it's also stressed because it is burning. So the bugs are probably just honing in on that. This is great blue lobelia. This is a nice clump. I leave it. I did not plant this. It self-seeded from somewhere, and honestly I think it looks perfect here. And it's living, thriving, so I'm letting it do its thing. And here you can see I have some daylilies that are blooming. This took over this clump of daylilies, so I probably will be moving that daylily or just getting rid of it. I had a clump back there. All of this stuff is just taking that over. But this one looks really good still. I don't know the variety of this one. I got this from a friend, and she didn't know the variety either. Lady's Mantle is still looking wonderful because we haven't had a lot of rain, and so the flower heads are still standing upright. I guess there's a plus in sometimes no rain. This pagoda dogwood is still spectacular. I wish I could show you though. The leaves though, not here. Maybe if I can get to the back if it's not too buggy. They're starting to change color. That's not normal. That's a little early. Kind of hard to see. Looks better on a cloudy day. So yeah, lots more flower spikes on my hostas. Back here, this is an astilbe. I like it here because it offers a contrast of foliage amongst all of the broad leaves. I might at some point. I don't think I'm going to keep my orange lilies. I'm just not in love with them anymore. But I might just move it over in here and give it more room. But right now I'm not doing a whole lot of moving and replanting in my gardens because of the season that we're having. It would just be very stressful for them, and it would be a lot more work on my part. This is another Persicaria. I grow this just for the variegation, the coloring. I love it. It is very aggressive. It does seed everywhere. I mean, so far it's just kind of stayed in this clump. But I might dig some up and move it elsewhere. I might do that in the fall and put it over in this area over here. Giant fleece flower. The wind has been doing a number on it. I have some more broken branches. That's okay. It still looks really good. I think this is Maui buttercups, but I could be wrong. And that one's spectacular. Yeah, I think I will get to the back of the garden because there's a lot blooming back there. So here, oh, do you see that in there? I got to get in there and trim that up. I think this plant here, Sabaria sorbifolia, does like a lot of moisture, so you can see that's what's happening to it. I don't water this area back here. The only thing I do water is, well, the ligularia, because that just takes a lot of water, and most of the stuff is on their own. I might set up soaker hoses in this next year, but not when all this is so filled in. But you can see this is also another Sabaria sorbifolia that kind of like it ran all the way over here. And these are the flower heads on it. They're so buzzy, and the pollinators love it. One thing about this heat is, yes, everything has like really filled in, gotten really big looking. Oh shoot, this daylily is not blooming. That would have been nice to have shown. It's a nice bright yellow. But everything is just going through its bloom cycle so quick. Because these are all done. And that can't have been more than a week ago. Love Bee Balm. It's just a red one. I think it's Jacob Klein. And then a fuchsia colored one. I don't know this variety. I'm surprised it's even here because I thought the Cibaria Bifolia took it over. Looks like a little piece survived. And that's okay. And then I don't know. These are a lot of natives back here that I planted. It might be a brown-eyed Susan. But I don't know for sure. And then some more bee balm down here. It will get bigger. That is just newly planted. Coral Reef this year. And then I had some more red back here that from mine that I split this year. So, and what can I say about the clematis? Absolutely glorious. And then you can see the pink mink is flushing out. Very happy. I didn't think it was going to bloom. But I will say the purple is my favorite. Because I've been watering the ligularia because that does get really bucky if it's not watered. I'm just going to shoot over here real quick. No, I'm going to go to the back garden quick. I feel like this tour is getting long. I do apologize because there's not a whole lot blooming. It could be boring for a lot of people. But I like my tours because I usually watch them in January and February when I'm just trying to get through winter here without going insane. And I love garden tours. They're my favorite videos. They're the first ones that I find on YouTube because I just sit back and enjoy a cup of coffee and relax. And I love it when people talk about their plants. They're like babies. These are a little more cupped. It is pretty, but like I said, putting it next to the purple one here, which is, I think, Polish Spirit, this is spectacular. I love the group 3 clematis because I can't, you can see all the blooms here from the wind and weeds, but I can't fail with group 3. Even if the rabbits chop them down in the spring, that's what they do for me. Look at this one. Avant-garde, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. That is really neat looking too. And that's loaded. I kind of bent the stem so it kind of starts going down and winding around here so I get blooms all over, not just at the top. See, this is the part with the hosta flower heads that I start to not care for, is when they flop over, but that's okay. Like I said, lazy gardening. This looks great back here. The bee, I'm letting it do what it wants to do because I absolutely love bee balm. This is probably one of my favorite varieties because it is so vigorous and it just keeps on trucking along. I don't know what, let's see, what these are right here. That might be milkweed. I'm not sure. I know this is Asclepias, but I don't know if that's bugs on there. Huh. I'll inspect it later. It's probably just a weed and I've been leaving it. We'll find out. Sometimes I like to let them get close to blooming, depending. So if you can see here, this is where they're starting to color up. That's not normal. That's usually happens in August. So I need to water this a little bit more. Fortunately, this Astilbe was blooming, went through its cycle quick, and I wasn't able to show you. It's a nice fuchsia color. And I have great blue lobelia that decided to plant itself there. These are the ones that, this is Filipendula, Queen of the Prairie. They like it wet. They're aggressive in very wet soil. They spread, and then this is what they're doing. They're usually spectacular, and so, like I said, we'll see what happens next year. Honeysuckle is putting on another little flush here. Not a whole lot, but it's got a tremendous amount of growth. I can't get up there to get it to go down. But, okay. I feel like this tour has gotten really long. I'm sure I have a little puppy inside that is just waiting to go for his morning walk. I'm not too worried about today because it's very pleasant. Oh, yep, that fell off because of that strong wind. It's my compost pile that I'm letting it brown. I need some brown stuff. I've got too much green. It's a mess, but it's behind my garden, so I don't see it. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what way here. Dahlias are absolutely spectacular. Look at that. They're loaded in blooms, and so far they've been able to stand on their own without any staking. They're pretty sturdy, but I think as this gets bigger, yeah, and that's feeling a little wobbly. I'm gonna get on that before that busts, because this is, I'm gonna say magnificent. I just love this. Yes, when this is in a garden, that's all you see because everything else is so dinky. Zinnias down here doing pretty good. They're really liking the heat. They're looking a lot better. Lime green. I've got some Cleome back here. Absolutely love. Those are annuals. I did fertilize my roses, so about a few days ago. So it'll take a little bit, but you can see that there's a lot of new growth in there. The sun is making it difficult to see, but I do have some blooming back here. I've deadheaded some. I need to get in there and do those. You can see I have another little flush down here. I have to cut back my Nepeta. Lots of growth inside there. The bees have still been on it. White Wands Veronica is starting to go over. Like I said, that was so fast. I'm just amazed. Or maybe time has just moving fast for me and I'm not realizing it. This coneflower is loaded. I'm very happy with this one. I don't know the variety though, I'm so sorry. This lily here is just starting to bloom, so hopefully I can capture it in one of my next videos. Sedum is okay. I mean, it hasn't split a whole lot compared to last year, but I'm not sure. I love the color of this, but it just might not be getting enough sun back here, because you can kind of see the shade right in here. And then the sun is in there. So that could just be location and not the plant. The Russian sage looks really good. I had some that busted off. I just trim them up. At least they're still upright. Here, these lamb's ears are going crazy. You remember what they look like in my first tour. I'm like, that's unreal. I was not expecting growth like this for the first year being in the ground that I planted. I'm gonna just kind of go over here real quick because this lady's mantle is still unbelievable. Love it. And then this daylily here is blooming. This is going bananas. You can see all of the flower heads that are on here. Can't wait. Now on the other side, I think I have one spike. And it gets sun over there. So I normally don't fertilize my perennials, but I might have to with those over there considering they're, I think it's that tree. That darn tree. Yeah, going bananas, it's just beautiful. Nice lemony yellow. Isn't this bee balm unbelievable? This has probably like more than quadrupled in size. Last year it was probably half of the size, and I love the fact that it's not splitting. It's all, oh, the bees love it. Granted, it's kind of going over. It's not in its prime, but it still looks amazing. But yeah, if I can show you the bees. If I can show you the bees. Like I said, sometimes well, there's lots of them. Take my word for it. Okay, coming through my garden here. This, I had moved this coneflower from on this spot to here. I'm just happy it's blooming. Should be a little bit bigger than that, but that's okay. Zinnias look really good. So this is where you can really see the growth on this. I'm very happy with these roses considering how much I chopped off. And I love the aged look of this. It looks antique-y. So yes, I am leaving them for a little bit because I think that's a really pretty spent flower head. I had to prune up this rose a bit because of the datura, but it will be blooming here soon. I don't know. All my roses did get fertilizer. And this garden looks great. I think I might just do a video on its own. I feel like this tour is getting so long, but I'm just going to kind of go over it. Most of you, if you've kept up with my tours, you know what these plants are, and I'm pretty sure most of you grow these plants too if you love starting your own seeds. They're actually, you can hear how happy they are today because of a little bit cooler. And I mean, when I say cooler, I'm going to say it's going to get into the mid 80s today. I'll take that, but drier. Oh, you can see my hyacinth bean is starting to put on some height where I have to train it back down. Cosmos looks fantastic in here. Lots of deadheading, but I do like to deadhead. And then I'm going to swing over here. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. This tour feels like it got long. A little lime hydrangea is, I will be applying some iron to this. You can see it's really, I've never had this issue before, but it's really yellowed out. But, you know, I've been watching other videos, and it seems like a lot of people are having issues with chlorosis. But, yeah, but they do have flower heads. I left my lilacs. Usually I trim them up. Yes, this is massive. It's not going to happen this year. I think it's a little bit too late. I don't want to sacrifice blooms for next year. But you know, the one thing is I kind of look at it as maybe they'll help support some of these hydrangeas if we get a rain, because they usually flop. And then all of my hydrangeas that I have are paniculatas, so they bloom on new growth. I know I have a pinky winky, little lime, vanilla strawberry, and there's one other one, and I don't remember the name of that one, but all four are different. But yeah, this is loaded. And this is the one that I thought was gonna die because the leaves were curling. And you can see it's gonna be quite spectacular when it's all in bloom. You know, like I said, usually I trim up my lilacs, but they'll offer a little staking for these this year. It's not like they're massive, so they're still easy for me to cut. And they're troopers considering the weather that we have, and I know hydrangeas like it very moist and very happy. So I'm thinking my next garden tour, these all should be blooming really nicely, and that'll be a nice little show going on. I love the paniculata hydrangeas. They're an easy hydrangea for me to grow because they bloom on a new growth. Anything that blooms on old growth is where I have issues, because I have rabbits that just like to chew everything down. Oh, isn't this site just so beautiful? I'm so happy with my cut flower garden this year. You can cut flower, pollinator, you name it. And what I love is I started all of this by seed. Oh, I have to hit on these too. My basil is doing really good here, and my silver sage, what can I say? That also, these were seeds started indoors by me. And they're beautiful. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this tour, and bye for now.